What's up, guys? Welcome to the live stream. Hopefully you guys were able to see that intro and everything went live. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late. Just working out some tough technical difficulties on this end with the sound and everything, but hope you like these little circle bubbles. I found this while I was messing around with the settings. Let us know if you can hear us okay.
Mic check, mic check.
I wore my special hat today just for you guys, so be happy. All right, we got some people reporting that it sounds good.
Good.
So again, sorry we couldn't get a live stream going last week while I was out in the UK. I wanted to get one in, but just the logistics of it all weren't perfect. But yeah, we met up, we got to talk business and stuff, so it was good. It was a trip that was much needed to get all three of us in the same room together. So it was pretty cool. So happy about that. Let me bring something up on the screen. Let's talk a little bit about SwapX, because I want to make sure that we give that some good emphasis here over the next couple weeks. It ends at the end of the month. We're giving away tens of thousands of dollars. So definitely don't sleep on this one. Let me quickly go into the back end of the system and see how many people have signed up. And I'll give you an idea of kind of what we're looking at here as far as your competition. Let me get a little refresh. We'll get some updated numbers. So far, 423 people have entered into the contest with a variety of entries, so it's quite a few. Cool. All right, let me bring this up on my screen real quick. It's always got to be right behind me. Okay. So as you guys know, we're giving away a bunch of money. When we started it up, it was around $40,000. Obviously, prices swing in the market up and down. But there's a ton of cash to be given away right now. All you got to do to get entered is go through these little processes. So each one of these is going to give you entries. If you're going to follow us on X or Twitter, or retweet the posts that we have up, or follow Swapex on Twitter, follow our YouTube channels, enter your wallet addresses. That's super important. We have a couple people that have entered and gotten one entry. So if you haven't at least got 3 entries, you're not going to win. You at least have to enter your Sonic wallet address, which is EVM. So it's your MetaMask, Grabby, whatever you're using. And then your base wallet address, which could be this exact same address, but definitely it's going to be the same EVM. And then your SUI wallet address. So you're gonna have to open a SUI wallet for this. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get the funds. If at the end of the contest, we jump in and the winners that it picks, right? It's going to be 3 total winners. If the winners that it's picked don't have the correct entries in, we don't have wallet addresses, you can't win. There's no way for us to send you the funds, and we're not going to go out searching for that. So if you win for some reason and you don't have that information in there, we'll move on to the next person. We'll ask it to pick another random person. But it's a pretty cool setup. I've been playing around with it a little bit. So this is going to all be announced in a couple weeks, and there is big cash given away. I forget exactly what we're doing. We're doing a couple $5,000 stakes in USDC, so in stable coins. Those will be at a 0.4, so those will double. So
I've got it in front of me, Scott, if you need it. I've literally got it in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're giving away, so there's going to be 3 lucky winners. Altogether, there is 50,000 VE SwapX, 5,000 USDC on Sonic, 5,000 USDC on Base, 5,000 SwapX tokens, and I think that is 250 million Al-Sui tokens. So the winner is going to get 25,000 VE SwapX, 2,500 on USDC stake on Sonic and Base, 250 SwapX tokens, and 125 million Al-Sui. And the second and third place are both going to get 1,250 SwapX each, $1,250 stake on Sonic and Base, 1,250 SwapX tokens, and 62,500 Al-Sui tokens. There you go.
Awesome. Yeah. So good amount of cash that's being given away for you guys just to do stuff that you would have done already. Right? So to get have the likes and everything and tweets and stuff. And then obviously if you're going to making deposits and spending some time over on the SwapX site and getting used to that of course, the interactions over there are going to get you entries. We want to incentivize people to use the SwapX DEX and get familiar with it because we think it's going to be big during this bull run. And then, of course, PACA. So if you come over here and make stakes in the variety of chains that we have available for you on the PACA pools, then you'll get a bunch of additional entries that way. So 3 people are going to win big. Those VE SwapX tokens are going to allow you to go in and give you voting rights. When you vote on certain pools every week, the epoch's actually today. So every, depending on what time zone you're in, it's, Wednesday or Thursday, right in that crossover. Once you vote, you can get bribes and other things. So you're able to make a bunch of money off of voting. And then, of course, also you're swaying the pools that you could be farming in as far as emissions. So a lot of great ways to make money on that. You're going to be a instant whale if you're the winner here. Really, all 3 are going to have awesome positions in VE SwapX. And then, of course, Al Sui, you've got the major stakes. Again, those are at 0.4. So those stakes that you're being given are going to double. So you're going to double up your money there pretty easily. And we're going to give away some SwapX. We'll buy fresh SwapX off the market and dish that out to you guys. So should be a great contest overall. And we're getting pretty close to the end here. So 2 weeks left. Make sure you get involved with that. You need to do just some actions here. Now, I've been wanting to add some additional things here because we got a good handful. You got 2,025 entries that you can do, but I want to add some additional ones. I've been thinking of a few different options that we could do, but I wanted to actually take this opportunity and maybe let the community weigh in. What additional actions on here do you guys think would be good that we could add that would give you some additional entries? I'll obviously decide how many entries each and everything gets, but think of it in terms of what would benefit the community, whether it's sharing certain social media posts or deposits or doing different things on the either one of the dApps, right? Whether you're doing them over on Sonic or on PACA. We've had some people suggest buying stakes off the marketplace or buying or listing stakes off the marketplace. I think that's a pretty good idea. We could add some of those. So if you've got good ideas during this live stream, go ahead and just smash them into the comments section. And then we're going to weigh those out. And by the end of the day, we'll add a bunch of new contest things. We'll add some new line items on there. Here's a good one. Buy Al Sui.
Yeah,
you can do that one for sure. Okay. So as we go through the live stream, that's what we'll do. We'll have you guys add those in there. I'll make a little list of them. And then we'll add some additional items on here so you guys can find ways to get new entries. And we're going to try to rally this out over the next 2 weeks. Enter $100 into the Sui pool. I like that one. Well, let's get an update on Sui. So I'll let Keith give you an update on Sui. And then we've been wanting to get this pool up. So obviously those could be options for everybody, those deposits. But Keith, why don't you give us an update on where we're at with Sui and kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah. So Sui is pretty much there. To be honest, if we were building a brand new dApp on Sui, it would have been a piece of cake to do. But because PACA is as big as it is, with the marketplace, the vaults, the pools, they all have to mash into each other. It's taking a bit more work. Last night I was on with the Sui devs. We now have a working marketplace and a working vaults. We're just now working the connections out to connect them and approve them onto the pools. And then Sui is pretty much there. So we're not, I know it's been a while. Trust me, it's been a pain for me as much as it has for you lot waiting, but it is super, super close. The team I've got working on it are brilliant, really good Sui devs. So I'm hoping maybe to get this in the last week of the competition. I'm away next week. I am online, but I'm not in front of my big computer with all my like stuff on there that I need, all my Sui nodes and stuff. So I can work on it, but I can't push it live while I'm away. So I'm hoping to push it live the last week of this competition, ready for the last week of this month is the plan. Because they're going to be they're working solid. I think I finished the meeting 11 o'clock UK time last night. We did like a 5-hour meeting, just bashing it all back and forth. So yeah, we are very close. So maybe that's something we could drop on here, Scott, and then when it goes live, it can just be something people can like grab some extra points at the end just to get some extra entries in.
Yeah, definitely. So there's the update. Like you said, it's been a little more complicated than we had hoped. It doesn't work like EVM chains, so it's kind of rewriting in a whole new language, and they don't always communicate well with each other because it's so different and there's no EVM connection. It's not the same. The sites have to mirror each other. So when you jump over to do your SUI stuff, it's really a new site, but you guys won't notice any difference. But on the back end, it's a totally new site because it has to connect through SUI and a totally different network. So in order to make that seamless and not make it just a completely different dApp, essentially, it takes a lot of extra work. So sucks it's taking this long, but that is the deal with developing on SUI. I know some of our friends are going through it too, like Richie. I know he's still building out his farm, and I guarantee they're going through some of the same little idiosyncrasies and stuff like that we are as well. So it will come out, and I think once more dApps start to come out that are on SUI, I think SUI will start to get more traction. People start to understand how to build on SUI, and all of a sudden you'll see a lot more stuff spring up over there, and we'll see a good rebound in the price. It's not bad right now. It's definitely found a nice little bottom here, and it's still churning out really good fees. But yeah, everything in the market right now doesn't know whether to go north or south. I think everything's leveling out. A lot of the tariff wars are starting to get ironed out. It seems like most countries are coming to some sort of agreement. The major one right now is just US and China. So it causes a little turbulence in the market. Most people who are smart money are just buying these bottoms. They know it never lasts. If you look at any chart, and I saw one the other day that was like a chart of every time the media outlets put that there was like a catastrophe going on in the markets. If you were to buy every time that was the major headline in the news, you'd be up, some crazy percentage over the last 10 years. So same thing is major red days. Just make sure you're buying. We obviously like to run promos on those because we can pick up a lot of assets and stuff them into our positions on the lower end of the range. And then anytime it rebounds, which it always does, then you get the benefit of the impermanent loss, or really the impermanent gain that swings back to the upside in addition to the fees. So playing the game is just part of it. It would be ideal if the market only went sideways and up just a little bit, and we're just continue to grind on good volume. For us, that's the most desirable farming opportunity or farming scenario, but that's not how things go. Things are going to bounce up and down, so you got to take advantage when you see those red days, add to the positions. And when you when you see those heavy green days and the market's flying, just make sure you're cautiously optimistic about resetting your ranges or whatever, so buy on the red days. But went on a little tangent there. We've got some good options here that are kind of interesting that I'm liking. This one is probably worth it. We could have
definitely.
That's what she said joke. That's actually kind of funny. We could definitely do that. Mark Bowles apparently needs a new PC, so for 1,000 points, if anybody wants to buy him one, we'll give him 1,000 points. Chris, this is a good idea. We've actually had this come up a couple times for the whales. I think the minnows of the world don't like this idea because it's more entries for the big guys, but that's how it goes. I know some people ask, well, why do you give so many entries for big stakes? We have to incentivize the things that make sense in the space, right? Like the protocol does better with funds because those funds can go out and farm and take advantage of these dips and all that. So we want to incentivize an increase in funds at a nice steady rate over time, right? We're not asking for tons and tons of capital to come all at once. We've had a nice growth pattern, and it's been real consistent from the very beginning. If you look at our growth month over month as far as total deposits, it's been super consistent. We've obviously had some good spikes when some whales have come in, but that we want to incentivize that. And we want to definitely incentivize more people to start using Swapex and understand the DEX and how they can use it, because Sonic is a very cheap, very fast chain. And love using USDCE on it. I mean, there's a lot of perks to using that as well. And then just getting involved in the SwapX ecosystem in terms of the NFTs and all that stuff, ownership of the platform, all that. So we want to incentivize that. So we want to make sure that the stuff we're giving entries for is helping the ecosystem. It's not just giving, throwing entries out to throw entries. So resharing content and stuff like that, even, liking our YouTubes, following our YouTubes and smashing like on the videos, all this stuff makes an impact that helps the protocol over time. So that's why we incentivize it. So Chris, I think that's a guaranteed one. We'll put a couple whale stake options in there for people.
I think a good one might be some vault, because we haven't got any vault stake ones on there, so we can maybe pop yourself up a tier in the vaults or something along those lines. Get some more people over there.
One as well. We could throw some tier. Let's after we'll boil this down to maybe 3-4 or so of what we think are the best ones, and then we'll just add them on there. So later this evening after the call, when everyone's refreshing their screens and adding to their stakes or compounding or whatever, take a look at the new categories that we have on there so you can get the new entries.
We are as well. I've just looked. We are creeping up to 30 million as well. So 250,000 away from 13 million right now as well. So
yeah, we are getting close. Yeah, this one is for sure going to happen. When Sui's done, there's going to be the ability to stake out Sui and give you a boost in the vaults and everything. So there's definitely...
Yeah, Sui's going to have a lot. And once I finish building this out, I've learned so much building in Sui Move with the Sui devs that there's going to be the options that I can build stuff in Sui for Sui as a utility token and all that kind of stuff going forward in the future. So it's definitely not forgotten. It's definitely going to have a big part to play in the future with us and what we do going forward.
So good utility. Obviously, we've been trying to add utility for that for a while. It's like, again, if it was a super simple dApp, but once you add the extra layers of having everything on Sui be able to do what the vaults do, and then also the marketplace, got a little more complicated, keep pushing everything out, but it will get done. You'll have the ability to do that. We've got some other ideas for the dApp, but everything here is pretty well locked in. We feel like we've given everybody the opportunity to do a lot with the platform. With the pools, it's easy, right? It's your income generator. You stake it, we farm it, and then we kick the funds back out to you guys. Seems like most people have a pretty good compound claim schedule where they're making some money and paying some bills and then doing a good amount of compounding. So they're kind of building their bag. I think that's awesome. Seems pretty ideal to me. We offer the vaults, which was really a way, this is break even for the dApp. It's really a way for the most part for you guys to just be able to stake your funds and earn it, or, earn money and earn a little extra bonus on the coins and tokens that you're staking without having to ditch those tokens, right? So at the end, when XRP goes to the moon or ADA goes to the moon or whatever you want to, what do you have staked in there? You'll be able to take that back and sell it off, or do whatever you want with it. So you get the advantage of the upside of the market in those tokens. So that price increase you get to keep, and then also get a little boost for having it in there, and a little boost over on the pool side. So vaults are cool. Really just something for you guys to utilize. Got about $500,000 in assets in there. That would be a lot higher if the market had been performing a little bit better, but I think it will. I think it's going to turn around. There's enough people that are negative about the market right now that it makes me think that we're pretty close to the upside. So that's how I feel like it always happens. And then the marketplace is key, I think. I want to address something that we talked about the other day when we were our meeting, the team, but we've had a lot of people ask us what we're going to do in regard to lending. Is that still on the table, and this and that? We've had some deep discussions on it. The lending's not totally off the table, but where lending is the most helpful, where it would have been helpful with a protocol like Drip, or MSS has good lending. They set up a good section of the lending for their protocol. It works really well when you don't want to sell the underlying asset, right? You don't want the price of that token to go down. Because PACA works off of stable coins, it's not really a thing. The price won't go down. It's tied to a dollar. You know, it's pegged to the dollar. If it loses peg, that's a whole different story. And you know, but essentially, there's no problem in selling stable coins here because the liquidity on it is massive, and no matter whether you sell it now or 2 years from now, it's going to be worth the same. It's going to be tied to the dollar, right? So for the most part, lending against the assets that you have so you can get back that exact same asset doesn't really make any sense. That's part of the reason why the marketplace is so genius. The marketplace allows you to get funds out directly, right? Rather than having to do some sort of emergency withdrawal and taking a massive hit, or having to figure out how to lend and then pay back on your stakes. You can essentially just sell those stakes, go do what you need to do, and then come back in, which is what most people do when they're using the lending side of protocols. So what happens when someone needs some additional funds for whatever? We've had people that have had their tree fall and their roofs caved in, to car trouble, to some with their rent. Sometimes people put in too much money into crypto, and they lose their job and they realize, oh, I got to get this out because I got, I have mortgage payments or something like that I need to pay. Whatever the reason, this gives the user the ability to sell out of a stake, break the contract, essentially say, I know I agreed to be in this for 250 days and I've only been in it for 50, but I need to break the contract. So to break the contract, they get charged a fee. They take the majority of their funds with them. The new buyer comes in, buys it off the marketplace, which is just third-party buyer, peer-to-peer, and that third-party buyer gets a bonus. So they're getting more than they're paying for. And then the small percentage of that goes, of the fees go back into the DApp to just help bolster it, which all that really does is lowers our liability, which just makes the protocol healthier. The more money we make as a protocol, the more money the business makes. And the less the liability is, that gap is the profit gap, and that just goes into the war chest. So the deeper the war chest, obviously, the healthier the protocol is. So that's how that works. In case anyone was wondering, why the marketplace is so significant, and what are the, why we may not do lending in the same way that other people have done lending. I don't know if I described that very well, Keith. Tell me.
That was better than I'd have described it. So yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it is. But yeah, if you need money and you've got stakes, then you can take it. And then because we're USD, because we're a stable, you're not selling your stake, and then when you come back in later on, when you've got the money again, the value might have gone up, so you can't get as much. You can buy your stake value back as you got it and stuff. So it is just a way to take money out if needed, and then put it back in at a later date when you can. It's like Scott said, we've had people take it for repairs. We've had people take it to jump into something else even, and then they've took profit from that and brought it back into PACA. It's way, but it doesn't. It's only every marketplace sell helps the protocol immensely. Because like I said, the war chest gets filled, and then that's great for dip days, like when we had, like we're recovering now, but when we've had these crazy dips, we've been able to just be like, that's a good price, war chest, and just pick up some more to bolster a farm and make it more, stable. And therefore, our buy price in is a lot lower. So then when it does pump up, we're making money on there as well as a fee. So no, it's definitely, I've said this on the stream before. If I came into PACA now, when I do come in and I want to put a new stake in, I will always go to the marketplace and see what's available first before I go putting money in, because you're pretty much always going to get a better deal than just dropping money in. And then you've got yourself a better deal, and you've helped the protocol because you've, helped with the war chest, you've helped that kind of stuff. So yeah, it is real cool. I do like the marketplace. When we were designing this and we kind of cut up the idea, we didn't realize how cool it was going to become. And then I like the fact it's peer-to-peer, but a few people though, please make sure you check your stake IDs. Because someone last week quite literally put the wrong stake up, and before they had it, because the stakes sell so quickly, before they had a chance to do anything about it, it was sold. They obviously came to message me and ask, can I do anything about it? Because it's peer-to-peer, we are not involved in the buy or the sell at all. It's like, once the transaction's through, it's done. So I would just say that please make sure you're checking everything as you're creating your stakes, because they're selling that quickly. If you do make a mistake, then 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have time to rectify. Even though we've got the tools in there to cancel the stake or update the price, you may not have a chance to do that. So please just really watch what you're doing when you're doing it. That needs to be said, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Check to make sure it's the correct stake ID and the numbers look correct, and then make sure that you're putting in the decimals so you're not selling something for 40 cents when you're trying to sell it for $40 or whatever. So anyway, be sure of that. But it's been a super useful tool. A lot of people have used it, and I actually we were thinking of this the other day too. Gil's just posted it. Let's see. I really like the idea of having points for marketplace sells and also buys. So I think let's see if we can add something like that in. Keith, can we tell in the system if it's a buy off the marketplace fairly easy on a transaction?
Yeah, just need if they when they do their buy, they just need to post the transaction ID in, and just make sure you buy off the same wallet that you put for your wallet for the competition, so we can cross-reference it. Yeah. That's all you got to do. Apart from that, because it'll just show that wallet's bought the stake. So we can definitely do that. Just transaction ID, same wallet that you put in as your BSC wallet or the EVM wallet, because it's the same all the way across. Yeah. So whatever your EVM wallet is, make sure it's the same, and then we can cross-check it really quite easily.
Yeah, and to reiterate on that, make sure it's the same, because otherwise I can just go and look at the contract and then find someone who bought something on the marketplace and then claim it as mine and put it under my entry. So if the wallets don't match, we don't give credit. So if you use a bunch of different wallets for different things, just make sure those line up for us, because if they don't, we're going to pay out to the wallets that you guys have put in. So if you try to steal somebody else's transaction, it won't happen. So we will see if we can get those added, because I really like that idea. Even if it's not a lot. I mean, a lot of you folks are like, I'm not selling anything because I love my stakes, and things are going so well. It's nice to at least try one transaction through the marketplace, see how it works. So even if it's not a big dollar amount, it's not a huge deal. It would be awesome to get everyone using the marketplace and understand it, because you may never need to use it. There may be a time where, like, man, if I just had $500 to do XYZ, that would be great. And so being able to cash out real quick and use the marketplace and know how to use it, so you're not, if you need it in a quick emergency, so you're not fumbling around and maybe not putting the decimals or doing something, and then you'll end up regretting it. So we obviously want that to be a cool tool for everyone. It's turned out great. I mean, like you said, the initial concept from where that went, and then us figuring out a way for it to help in all these other different areas, it was pretty cool. Give me one sec, guys. We're gonna add in this old timer. What's up, buddy?
Here he is.
Good evening.
Right, dude. You all right?
Yeah, man. So, a quick disclaimer. If you hear two kids losing their mind, they're both on VR and they're both grounded when I'm finished. So, just everyone cover your ears if you hear any shouting from me, because I'm Daddy Dave. How's it going? I've been watching, by the way.
Yeah.
Good.
Things are good, buddy. We're just we're talking contest. We went over the contest a little bit. Just want to make sure everyone knows there's only 2 weeks left, so to get their entries in. We are in the process of talking through some different categories we could add to do additional entries. So we're really just talking about getting stuff up for marketplace buys and sells, maybe a couple whale stakes so people could get some good points. This was a really good option, I thought, from Chris, that we haven't discussed yet. Points for 0.33 stakes. That's kind of a cool idea, because everyone sits around and waits for promos, which I get for sure. It's obviously nice to get a little more bang for your buck, but I hope people realize, like, 0.33 is a really good rate, and it's just constantly paying. And I hope people are happy. Obviously, you want to get as much as possible. The reason we're always capping at 0.4 is because that's the highest we're comfortable with. We like it also when people are, we'll also make some down at 0.33 or 0.38. We ran a promo for 0.38. It just brings down the liability to like a nice medium range. And, any extra, of course, goes into the war chest. So we're just able to buy those dips, and just makes the protocol last even longer. So that's the key. Things have been good lately. Obviously, the last week has been pretty positive in terms of things turning around, and we've had some nice transaction volume and everything. But every once in a while, you've got a week where transaction volume's low. It's nice to have some reserves for that. Sometimes transaction volume gets really high, and we just need to, bank stuff in the reserves. So it's nice to have a nice, easy, a nice percentage that is our date, what we consider our daily liability, that percentage under 0.4, and so some of those 0.33s offset the higher ones. So I think that's not a bad idea either. Run a nice deal that if people are getting in at the base rate, that they get some additional entries. Not a bad idea.
Plus, if you've got a few grand in your wallet and you're waiting for a promo, and we don't run one for 2-3 weeks, that's 2 or 3 weeks you went earning 0.33 a day on that money if you just staked it at 0.33.
Yeah,
you just got to figure it out.
The promos are not going to be as regular as people might think that they used to as we move through the gears into this new phase of a bull run. We discussed it, and we always discuss it. It's always nice to do a promo because, like we've said a million times, if we see a dip, it's nice to have a war chest to buy said dip. But also, 0.33s, such a cool rate. And obviously with the marketplace, I heard Keith and Scott reference it earlier. The marketplace is genius. And the reason it's always empty is because everything gets bought. I think the most we had was 21 stakes listed, and they were all gone within an hour because I posted in Telegram. I was trying to pick one up for myself and it was just gone. Then a new one had come in, it was gone. So it was like, for me, 0.33 is such a fantastic daily rate on stables. You ain't getting that anywhere else, I'll tell you that for nothing. You can go out and farm it yourself, of course, like we've always said, and some people do. But when you see the choppy to the downside action, people get a bit scared and remove liquidity with a big loss. But ideally, we would like to see sideways and up. That would be the perfect farming mosh pit. But we don't get that, so it's all about us providing you with a service and a financial ecosystem where you can feel safe, and it's safe in the knowledge that we're not going anywhere. We're just bloody met up. Keith got the bill as well. Thanks for that, Keith. Dinner was lovely.
All right.
So yeah, long and short of it, the competition that's been ran, and obviously I've watched you guys talk through it. Some of the ideas are super cool, and this one is probably my personal favourite because 0.33 doesn't get enough love, and I think it should. So yeah, cool.
Again, though, make sure you're using the wallet that you've put as your wallet address to make the 0.33 stakes if we run this one, otherwise they won't count. It's always got to be that same wallet.
Yeah. And obviously the other thing that I'll touch on, that's what she said. I saw that one as well. Whilst we do what we do every day in Telegram, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, whilst everyone around us crumbles or fails and is not in Telegram, there's multiple dApps. I'm not talking about any particular one. We provide this. It's not a service. We provide this ecosystem, not just for you guys and girls. We also do it for ourselves because we're obviously big investors in it ourselves. So I think the icing on the cake was when the marketplace was created, because that killed off our potential. Well, not killed it off, but for now, put it to sleep. The lending argument that we hear so very, very often. And I just caught the bit where you were talking about it, so I apologise if it's already been talked about, which it probably has. The marketplace, the way it works, because it's a stable coin or stable coins, lending doesn't really apply to us because there's no upside of not having a token go down in value or up in value. That's why it's called a stable coin. So I love the marketplace. It's quite possibly my favourite thing that's happened in a dApp for a very long time. And I am biased, but I think most would agree.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
I agree completely. What else was I going to say? You guys know we have in like a little over 10, 11 days or so it's our 1 year anniversary. So that's pretty big. If you guys have been down the road with us since the very beginning, we started this up as 8-bit. An 8-bit farm had just a BSC pool, essentially. We had the ability to do pretty much everything back then that we do now as far as pool. We decided after a few months, after we were really gaining some traction, that we were going to rebrand because we wanted to just redo the site, make it more professional, a little bit better of an investment platform before we branched out and started doing things like the vaults and the marketplace and all that. So we've rebranded, got our little PACA avatar and everything like that set up and relaunched. And it's been, I think I want to say we did that in last August. So it's been,
it was August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So August of last year. And so it's most of you guys have probably been in since it's been PACA, but there's a good percentage of you guys, especially some of the ones that are diehards and jump on the live stream and the comments and everything that have been here since the original 8-bit launch from the very beginning. But needless to say, it's been a year and we're going to do something at the year mark. We haven't fully locked everything down, but we're always open to fun suggestions. But we'll do something then as well. So count on by the end of the day, I'll get a bunch of new entry categories added on there. So make sure you guys are checking back. We'll put a little post up in the Telegram chat when that's up. And then you guys can go in and check them out and execute on those. But we'll have a few different ones. We'll make sure we give people more options to get more entries. I know some of you guys have kind of exhausted the list that you have there, so adding a few in there would be pretty cool. And yeah, if you guys don't mind, please smash the like. It helps get the video out, gets more views. Live streams don't get near as many views as some of the shorter videos do. People don't have the patience to sit around, so we appreciate everybody who jumps on these. I have 50 people at one point, I think, on here, so it's good to have everybody jump in and get the updates. I know you guys are busy. It's the middle of a work day for a lot of you folks, so we appreciate it. Let's see. What's this? Let's look at this one, Carl. What do you say? Do a randomizer for promo rates, 0.34 to 0.38. Hit a button and stake.
We could, yeah, that is kind of doable. So yeah, I actually quite like that. We could hide the daily rate, and then we just drop in all throughout the day and just change it randomly in between a few, and then just they get what they get. We don't tell anybody anything. We just literally just drop in. One of us drops in, changes it randomly. But yeah, we hide the daily rate for a day and just go nuts between us.
I'm already the admin panel choosing a rate, so yeah, you said it. Be careful.
Oh man, that's dangerous. But we could do a lot of stuff. We could hide it and say any stake over 50 qualifies. Any stake made during that day will get entries or something.
Random, like yeah. We could definitely do something, because that's easy to set up as well. That is. I quite like that one.
That'd be cool. Awesome. Well, we got some good options here. We'll weigh all of them. Probably get quite a few of those, which I like a lot. We'll get those up. What other questions do you guys have? I know we discussed SUI and it's the fact that it's oncoming and what the challenges have been so far and what to expect here in the near future. So that's coming. We discussed that we're going to have a little birthday celebration here coming up, our 1 year anniversary. Swapex, again, the Swapex contest ends at the end of the month. So all this stuff that we're doing just adds into that. We'll need to probably add some more things on that list to incentivize you guys to jump over to SwapX and use it as well. So we want to make sure that we're getting plenty of traction and eyes on that platform over on SwapX. They're our partners, and they were really generous to come to the table with us and meet us in the middle to do a massive promo to give away tens of thousands of dollars to people. I don't think any other DeFi program is really doing this that isn't like major mainstream one. I don't think any little platforms like ours have done anything even remotely close to this. So that's pretty cool to see. But yeah, it's if you guys have any more questions, let us know. I didn't want to make this last too long. We were thinking 30-45 minute deal. So we've got some time for a little Q&A if you guys have some questions right now. So this is a question I've answered a ton of times and on every stream. So kind of tired of answering it, but it doesn't mean that you have ever heard me answer it before. So it's not your fault. We don't really know. I mean, I don't foresee, especially with the way the market is right now and the fact that this bull run's playing out a little different. I don't foresee it lasting any less than 2 years, but there's a couple of scenarios. Once the bull market ends, and some people say that we're in a bear market right now. We're not. Bear markets are like 90% drawdowns. We've seen a nice 30% pullback or whatever, and it really only, I think, since the beginning of the year, Bitcoin's down like 10%. It's not crazy. So we're not seeing massive. This is not a bear market as much as some people want to say that it is, just to be antagonists. But we've seen a pretty healthy pullback here, and we've been able to wade these waters. So we know that some nice chop like this, even to the downside, is totally doable. There's going to be a point though where we go through a major bear market where we're seeing 80 to 90% drawdowns, maybe, depending on how the market plays out and how much institutional capital we get in. If we see bear markets to that degree, and maybe not that this next one, because there's so much capital in the system, so you may be talking about like 50% drawdowns. Anyway, it's not fun to farm in major bear markets, so we can either drop the rates significantly and then and make the protocol last, because we're gonna have rates that are so low that it'll just pay out really low rates, and then we'll have to wait till the market comes back up to be able to raise them again. Or we have the ability to we could basically just say, hey, we're at the top of the market. We think we're about to move into a bear market. We're flush. We're just going to shut everything down. You guys just claim out your funds. Everyone's made a tremendous amount over, whatever they put in. So everyone's in profit that ever got into PACA, and we'll shut it down and walk away. That's also an option. And the third option is to manipulate the protocol to do different things and react differently. So we've got a couple aces up our sleeve to be able to do something like that if the time comes where everyone still wants to do PACA and is fine with having the way the game is played be changed a little bit. There's other things you can do to make it more fun in a bear market. So that option's available too. So can't really say. I think we're going to be around for at least a couple of years. We're not going to do this forever though. Like the boys and I, it's as fun as this has been building and everything. It's, for the most part, when you're an entrepreneur, you try to build stuff, you build a business and run it for 2 to 5 years or something, and then essentially sell it off and you find your exit. And so there's at some point where we as entrepreneurs are going to find the exit, and everyone's going to get paid out, and that's going to be fun. And then we'll maybe go try and build something else. So for the folks who are saying, yeah, just keep doing this for another 10 or 15 years, that's never going to happen. It's, we're going to move on to bigger, better projects, whatever we create next will be super fun. Maybe you guys will all come over there if it's in the DeFi space or whatever. Maybe it'll be in the real world, because we all have kind of businesses that we work on in the real world too. So it's a complicated question. Just depends on what happens with the market, but we're going to be around at least for the next couple of years, and we'll figure out whether we want to pay everybody out or change the metrics of how PACA works to be super sustainable through a nasty bear market. And so at that time, that's when we'll make the call. So
we do have. I don't like Leaky Lee. I've got to be careful, so I'm just gonna think before I speak. Okay. The aces that Scott talks of, they are true aces as well. They are real, proper aces. And if we decided to go down that route, be careful, Lee. Nearly. we have
mute him, Scott. Mute him.
We have some incredible options that Scott alluded to. So there are multiple options in terms of mega bear markets and exit strategies. But the aces will always be played first, and they are mega sustainable aces. So you don't have to worry about anything. We've got you covered either which way or loose. So don't worry. It's pretty cool.
Cool. And can I just jump in? Jump in and say, obviously people are saying, are you going to be around in 5-10 years? If you went back 5 years ago to what you could build on the blockchain for dApps compared to now, in 5 years' time, PACA model as it stands now may be so outdated that we will want to move on and build something else, because if DeFi moves that quickly, there will be a point where there are things available to us that can make things a lot better. The way farming works could change. Like we're on like V3 of farming now. In like 5 years, farming could run a completely different way than what it runs now. So we might have to change to do stuff there. So yeah, we're always going to be building, we're always going to be doing stuff. But like Scott says, we don't want to be like in 10 years' time still be in like it is now. And we want to be evolved with the market. So that's the way we'll be going. But yeah, there is some good aces coming up. We just have to keep Lee quiet for a while until we need to play him.
That's a good point, though. I mean, when you talk about the difference between 5 years ago and what blockchain is available now on a micro scale, you know, we were doing our in real life business with Foodtopian, and the UK banks just don't like that much on ramping and off ramping on a regular basis. So that became essentially to us an outdated model that wouldn't work anymore. So what we did is we transitioned that over. So there may be a case where it's like, hey, you guys have options. We're going to build something new. Do you want to migrate your stake over to the new protocol that we built? Or do you want to get cashed out, right? Not too much different than what we did with Foodtopian. We migrated all those NFTs that were related to the food truck business over into PACA, and those have long since paid out. And it was a transition that we could do to make sure that everybody got paid from that business and wanted the next one. So if the time comes that we want to sunset PACA, but we have some super cool thing that we're building that we want to do, those people maybe would have the option to then just transition that over to the new deal, or, you know, take their money and go do their own thing. But anyway, we're always going to give people that option when the time comes. Rapid fire, because there's a lot of questions real quick. So any feeling on where the market's going? I think we still could possibly have one more pullback. But I think the market's going up. The only variable here that I'm concerned about in the least bit is the China scenario. China could dump a bunch of treasuries and throw a wrench in this thing. China's the second largest holder of U.S. debt. So they don't want to play nice. We can't figure out how to, you know, meet somewhere in the middle. I could see that causing some weird stuff in the market. You have seen some interesting divergence between the regular market and the crypto market. I think at some point that will break free, and like the Bitcoins and stuff of the world, they won't follow the rest of the market because they're two different kinds of assets. So, you know, certain dollar denominated assets, stocks and stuff like that will maybe tanking while crypto is rising, as there's this kind of transition. But anyway, I think in general, we got maybe a little more blood, but I don't think there's going to be too much more. I think we're past most of it. Most agreements are happening. There's a little more certainty happening. If you don't watch the news, then you're relatively calm. You just find the dips. But yeah, that's my guess. I would say most of those people are wrong. We're not in a bear to me until we start seeing percentages that are like greater than 50% drawdowns from all-time highs, and we're not there. We're not there yet. So that's just my personal opinion. Let's see. I drank everything while we were there. So I drank traditional British things. I had IPAs. We drank a little bit of everything. What would a closeout of the project look like? We'll decide. It's one of the two things, kind of like I was saying. This was posted a few minutes ago, so maybe I already described it. But we no longer accept deposits, and then you continue to claim all your funds. You make all your money, and you're out. Or transition to something else. Or we say any future stakes are at, 0.15 or whatever the market is producing at that point. But it'll be nice and easy. You basically get all your money back plus your profits. So it's not going to change anything. You basically, right now, if you're making a stake, you're making an agreement, you're making a contract to stake that for 250 days for X dollar amount. If it's at 0.4, it's double. So, you're going to ride out that contract. But new contracts, so if this was 2 years from now and we wanted to kill the project, we'd just be saying, hey, there's no more deposit button. There's only a claim button. So claim out and enjoy it. And maybe we've got this new thing going on or whatever. So we've got that that option as well. Lower rates in a bear market is a good option. Sorry if I cut you off.
So it just overran, or you can sell your stakes in the marketplace, just like you can today. Either way.
Yeah, that ability too. Lower rates in a bear market, it's good. It's a good option. It is a good option depending on what point you're at in the bear market. So like if the bear market's at a point where we're seeing 10-15% drawdowns in a day, and we're seeing like weeks of just massive blood, it's going straight down, it's not a good time to farm. You have to have enough reserves to go full cash and wait, and then get back into the farming positions, because otherwise your impermanent loss is so heavy that it's hard to offset it and make the money. So anyway, there's a math problem there that has to be resolved. So there's certain times where it'll work and certain times if you're not. If you have enough in reserves to kick back and you know that it's going to be a really nasty 2 weeks, then you go all cash, you earn no money in the farms, and then you wait until you see a little bottom and you've got to kind of play that game. So it's not just offer lower rates. Is the protocol in the perfect position to be able to run all cash for a little while and then buy back in at a much lower rate? And is the volume that's happening in the market at that time going to produce the fees, right? Because it's not just, if the market goes sideways, that's great if the market has enough volume, transaction volume, that's actually pushing up and down to earning fees. If the market's going sideways with minimal transaction volume and it's not real heavy, then it's not earning enough fees, which means you have to tighten your ranges, and that's a scarier situation, because tighter ranges, you're more likely to poke out one side or the other and then stop making money. So again, math problem that has to be resolved. Let's see. We'll call out this. I know you guys did. Unmade. Why don't you cover that real quick? You guys did a little.
Yes. So Little Dripper. It all started off in Telegram. He said he was going to come out of retirement and make a video when we hit 12 million. So we hit 12 million. So I baited him out of retirement and said if he came out of retirement and made a stake, I'd match that stake for him, and I'd also match that amount to give away to any community member he wanted to. So if you now go over to his channel, watch his videos, there's the instructions of what to do, and it's a $200 stake. So there's a chance to win $200. Once he tells me a winner, I'll make a video and we'll send someone $200. But yeah, it's good. It's a good little comp. You've got a good chance to winning. He's got a nice little community over there, but it's not like crazy big where he's going to have tens of thousands of entries. He's going to have like a few entries. So maybe definitely go over there and you could win a couple $100.
Yeah, he's been a huge supporter of us for a really long time. Lives up the road from Lee, so this is a stud. Where was it? I have to answer this question, and you guys can answer it separately. But for me personally, if things were going really well and wanted out, would we ever trust anyone else with the project? Probably not. I would say my answer is 99% no, but you guys can answer that yourselves.
No. There's literally, even the contracts. These two have got the keys to the contracts, but I wouldn't give them to anyone else. I don't think.
Nope.
Unless no way. It's working. We don't need to.
Even if we trusted them a lot, it wouldn't even have to be anything nefarious. If they made a mistake and the project went under, it would be tied to us in some way. No, I would rather get to the project and we want it out and just say congratulations, every single person who's got into this project has made money, and we turned off the deposit button. Just claim out, enjoy your funds. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their time. We've obviously got the whole thing built. If we ever want to turn back on the deposit button again, maybe middle of a bear market or toward the end of a bear market, to do it all over again because we had fun with it and reboot it, then we could do that. But I think for the most part, even if we really, really trusted them, there's just too many variables. And, PACA was kind of the thing we built. And, if it dies, it'll die with us, I think.
Yeah. We gave birth to it. We'll kill it. That's the way it is. It's a straight up no. And let me just drag it back from the depths of bear markets. We don't feel we're in one. We're doing super well. Everyone's getting paid. PACA is running like a dream. So the decisions of what about this, how long is it going to last, they don't actually apply right now. I understand people, want us to be here forever because obviously we're so cool and great and everything. I appreciate all that. But we're here on an AMA with a massive competition and looking to go for some time yet. Because don't forget, also people forget, we are in PACA too. We put the money in to start it. We had to get it off the ground. Funds needed to be on-ramped. And if it was just us still in it, we'd still be doing it. Because me personally, if you'd have watched one of my last videos, I'm such a proponent for the marketplace. It's ridiculous. I'm kind of a maxi, but I'll just keep saying it. Now I'm at the point in some stakes where they've been paying for such a long time. They're all compounded in. And now I'm just selling some of these compounded stakes because it's like free money. Yes, there's a slight tax hit, but it's not really a tax hit when you look at the balance sheet at the end of the 250 days with the profit that you've earned. And I haven't claimed or pressed the claim button for months. And now the marketplace is here, I don't have to. I can just peer-to-peer it. And then I can think, well, I haven't taken a single penny out of the rewards balance. Someone has got a nice little bonus and I've got cash in my wallet. I've used it for buying VE Swapex, leveraged, sort of, again, loaned it to myself, put it back in. If, for instance, the banks are being their usual selves, which they've been okay recently, to be fair, everyone's been okay. But if the bank puts a freeze on an on-ramp, or you have to send your passport and your driving license and all that again, I just loan it to myself via PACA, the marketplace, and everyone wins. So it's, It's
every one of those benefits that you just mentioned is the exact same thing people would mention if they had added lending to the protocol.
Correct.
Right, not have to sell out of the main bucket, not really having to claim. It's all. So anyway, it solves what we believe is the purpose for lending and really rounds out the protocol pretty well. I can't think of much else that's feasible of actually could be done, because obviously everything has to be done on blockchain. But I can't think of too much else that we haven't added that is super needed right now. So we feel like it's a pretty good protocol. We obviously built this over time and added to it in the ways we could. So we will be up very soon. So we'll have the ability to come in on 4 different currencies. And so you can choose which one you like or have some in each one. You got the ability to stake any other asset on any of those chains in the vault. For the most part, a lot of them are available, not every single one, but there's a good chunk of assets that are available for you to be able to stake stuff that's beneficial for the protocol. And then of course the marketplace is awesome. The ability to kind of exit when you need to. If you've already made your money, like Lee's saying, if you've already made your money, so you put in a $10,000 stake and then you restaked it at the end of the 250 days, and you've been in that for a while, you're already well into profit. So at any time you want to sell that, it's pure profit for you. And you can go that and, you can take that money, do something else with it. Or if you need to pay bills, or, we've seen people to have fun with it, sell some stakes and move chains. There's all sorts of different ways to play it. But I agree. It's a killer part of the protocol. Yeah, we're trying not to do this. We have been in the same place at the same time, but we're trying not to all be on the same plane or helicopter at the same time. So we'll take the appropriate safety measures.
No helicopters for me anyway, so that's all right.
Let's see if there's anything else.
Just touching on that real quick, because somebody said what happens, like for example, if I got run over by a bus tomorrow, Lee, who lives just down the road, knows where knows how to like come and get shit. Jenna, my partner, for example, knows that Lee would be turning up and taking stuff if to keep the protocol running, all that kind of stuff. There are a lot of measures in place that if something does happen to one of us, we can access what that person has on farms and stuff. It's not like, well, that's now like gone with them kind of thing.
Yep, definitely. Things will be good. We're all hoping to live, though. So
yeah, that's the plan.
That's a good start. We're all hoping to be alive for quite a while. So we think, I mean, realistically, we've had some crazy stuff going on in the U.S. Obviously, election cycles are always interesting. It's we had the halving a year ago now. And so Bitcoin's done some crazy things then. We're not too far off of what the normal trend would be, though. So I think even though we could see a little bit more blood, I personally think it's pretty much over. We're going to start to see some upside. And you can see some really big spikes on the upside because you are starting to get the SEC dropping cases left and right. So I think eventually things will pop off. A bunch more money will pour in. There's a lot of money being invested right now, partially because of the tariff stuff back into the US. And so US crypto companies, I think, will also be a beneficiary of that. And that's stuff like SUI, XRP. These are US companies. So you'll see a lot of money pour into some of those assets. As soon as those assets start going up, it makes great headlines, and then people basically buy off the headlines. They're just so excited about seeing green candles that people want to buy in. But I would incentivize you guys to make your deposits on red days. I mean, those are the best ways to do it personally. But do whatever you want. That's not financial advice. That's just look historically. Those are the best times to do it. Over long periods of time, crypto will do very well. So just be patient and try not to look at it on a macro scale. Try not to focus on individual headlines every day about the sky is falling, because those are endless.
Question off. Yeah, that one.
Yep.
Do you want me to? Okay, so Swapex NFTs, you can't buy new anymore. They were like in a pre-sale phase that they did, so they could raise the money they needed. So the only way to buy them now is off the market. And yes, they are quite expensive because you're holding like part of the protocol, and they pay out money like on the daily for them. So yeah, the only way to get one is at the marketplace. I haven't checked what the floor is at the moment. If you know what the floor is for them?
I don't know what the floor is. I don't know what the floor is. You go to PaintSwap.io.
Yeah, so you've been Sonic. Let's have a look. So the floor, 3,000 Sonic. So that's what, $1.5 grand-ish. About 1,500. So then, they're not a bad price to pick up if you can. Obviously not financial advice, but they are paying. You get access to some nice new things. Like we get pre-sales to new projects that have been vetted by the SwapX team and stuff. So, to get some pre-sale tokens for those. So they are worth picking up if you can. But yeah, they're people, if they are selling them, are not selling them for cheap.
All right. Just so you can see it, it's right here. So if you're on PaintSwap.io, if you want to buy a freshie off the marketplace, you can come get them here. But the SwapX NFT ID is right here. This number 823. So that's the NFT ID. That one just needs to live in the wallet that you posted on there. If you already have your SwapX NFTs, the X NFT ID will be right there. So that's the ID number. So if you buy a new freshie, then you'll have it. If you already own them and they're already staked, then you just go look and you can view yours. You put that in. We'll check to make sure that the wallet address that you posted is posted there. So that's it. That's how you do it.
Keep it a book. Not quite.
You've got a few.
Yeah,
we all have.
We've all got some. PACA's got some. So yeah, we've got, between the three of us personally and with PACA, we've got a good chunk.
Definitely. Yeah, we got a good amount of them. So we think the DEX will do well over time. I mean, it's had its ups and downs like every project in crypto right now lately. But we think the DEX over time is going to do really well. So owning a little slice of the platform is beneficial. So grab one of those. You get extra bonuses, obviously, in the entries if you've got some of those. So that's it.
Yeah, also, don't forget, if you do own them, you get access to the SwapX NFT, sort of, secret area, the lounge. You what, sorry?
Yeah, it's called the SwapX X NFT Lounge.
XNFT Lounge, where there's opportunities for you to diversify portfolios and get access to, special pre-sales or benefits in terms of trusted. And when we say trusted, always do your own research. Not, you've got to look at it. Anything in crypto is a risk, but obviously, with the SwapX team, if they're backing something, we're gonna play that game as well. So you get special benefits, and obviously, in terms of the payouts that you get for the NFTs, it will vary on both the SwapX price, volatility, trading volume, and the amount of people using the deck. So also, please be sure, if someone could post it, there is a PACA Finance referral code. If you would like to jump over onto SwapX, we get a little kickback, and all of the funds that we earn from any referrals and stuff like that all flows back into PACA Finance. We as a team, as you clearly know, we don't take fees as people. Anything that gets generated through PACA Finance goes back into PACA Finance because it benefits us also in the long run. We only pay ourselves if we out earn our liabilities on CLP and yield farming and everything else we've got going on. We don't also, because there's been some questions, and I am going to be blunt. Obviously, Privilege Club or Stable Swap, has gone through some issues in the last couple of months. PACA Finance is not invested as a business, a company, a project in Privilege Club or Stable Swap. We as personal investors have some funds in there, but no, PACA Finance doesn't go into anything other than, like a DEX, like SwapX. The reason we've gone into that is not because we're all friends and we're adding liquidity. There is an element to that, but the main financial decision was the fact that we got to invest as day one investors into a bona fide decentralized exchange with multiple extensive roadmap ability. So yeah, we don't gamble with the money that we have from you guys and girls. That is purely put into the safest places inside of crypto. So just be sure that you know that we're not gamblers. We're serious about not just your money, but ours as well. We're here to earn it, not lose it.
Yep. Shout out to the admin team. They've been outstanding. I feel like every question that comes into the chats gets answered almost immediately. There's a lot of people that have problems being on the right chain and wallet connection stuff, whatever, just jumping back and forth, being a multi-chain DApp and being able to jump back and forth. There's, inevitably you're going to be looking on BSC when your wallet's on base or whatnot. So we see a lot of those little issues and everyone jumps in and fixes those immediately. So it's super, super helpful. Outstanding team, and we appreciate everybody for sure. All right. I think we have answered a bunch of questions. We're now hour and 10 minutes in, so I'm probably gonna do it. It was launched. Sonic Pool has the least liquidity in it.
It was launched. I can tell you now how long ago Sonic was launched. Because I put a stake in on day zero. So
yeah, it was launched last, so that's part of it.
Sonic Pool is only 70 days old, if that. Yeah.
So it was, part of the reason is it was launched last. Another part is people are just getting used to Sonic. A lot of people have been on base. Other dApps that we've got in the past, that were on it are big. I mean, obviously a lot of people got in through Coinbase in the US, so it's their chain. So that's the second biggest one. We've had BSC going for a long time because everyone that was watching our content was familiar with BSC. So BSC's been around forever, a year almost, obviously, and then Base, then Sonic. But it's the latest one we launched, and the people are least familiar with it. So that's obviously why we're trying to incentivize people to get over to Swapex, because it's the premier DEX on Sonic. All right. I think we're going to call it there because we could be on answering questions forever. But I just wanted to make sure that we pumped the promo. This money's about to be given away, so somebody's going to get it, and it might be somebody who's just doing a couple different actions. But if you want more contest entries, then go through the individual line items that we've got on there, and we're going to add a bunch today. So give me a few minutes to get in the back end of Viral Sweep, which is the DApp that we're using, or the application rather. It's not decentralized application, to put all those in, and then you guys will be able to jump in and do some new things. So we'll take all the notes from the live stream, all the suggestions that you guys had, and we'll throw them together and add them to the list. So that's it. That's it for me. I'll let these guys close out, but I want to definitely thank everybody for jumping on the live stream. A bunch of people tuned in. Like I said, we had like 50 people jump in the middle of a work day on a Wednesday. It's pretty good. So thank you guys all for joining and always being big proponents of PACA.
Yep. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. All right, guys, we're going to close out. Happy investing to everybody, and look for that new content, all those different items where you can get entries probably within the next hour or two. We'll give a little update in the chats, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for joining.
Bye,
See you later.